guys, does it hit the pullback is good, it's big damage. Suddenly they're like, I'm not so sure about this one, but in goes Kai'Sa. Rell here to back him up.
C'est le mid.
No flash.
Je dois ITP.
Look at Corki.
Ok.
They got
Okay.
Lumber. No!
Help me.
Lumber the press.
One HP.
Nice.
SK through, but BDS through harder, baby! Now they're back on the map.
And welcome to the LEC stage for the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in with Isma this time around. Invincible in the LEC in summer so far, but we saw a new pick in the jungle on the side of Vedius with the Rumble. What did you think of this champion? And when you saw them first picking it, did you think that it would go in the jungle in the end?
Hello. I knew that Xiao was playing it a lot, but I didn't think it would go jungle because, in my opinion, it's really strong top right now. And so I didn't think it would go jungle, but it was a possibility. I don't really like the champ in the jungle. I feel like it's way more powerful in top with 0 counter, so.
You seem to have everything in control right now for SK 4-0 so far in LEC Summer. How do you guys feel in terms of comfort and level of play in general? Because I keep on hearing that scrims are not going so well, but then you keep on popping off on stage.
Yeah, scrims are not going that well, but still fine. On stage, it's a bit another game, way more controlled. It's going good, but also our game have been really long, and like this game with still the Nash and the throw at Nash, otherwise the game could be hard. Against G2 as well, there was a lot of up and downs, same for Giant X. So we are in a good position, but we need to keep it up.
Is it a decisive factor that you're missing right now in game, and what do you think you need to do to get to this point where you're going to be unbeatable?
I think it's about discipline, being way more disciplined in scrims as well, right? And I think it's only discipline.
When you think about the matchup you're going to have tomorrow against Razork, what are you anticipating? Because you don't play the same way, you don't have the same style, you don't feel the same purse for the team.
Yeah, I think Razork is the best jungle in the LEC so far, so it would be really interesting as well for me to improve. I aim. Like, it's regular game season, right? So I just want to improve for playoff, and I'm really happy to play versus them as well.
All right. Focusing on another topic than the LEC, we're honoring FLICKR as the first introduced in the league, in the Wall of Legends that you're gonna have, that we had introduced this week. What do you think of FLICKR as a player? What does it inspire to you?
I started league in season 4.
Yeah. How old were you?
22.
Wow.
I started league in season 4, and I mean, obviously there was already FLICKR, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a bit the icon for everyone. I feel like everyone knows FLICKR, so that's
All right. So we want to ask the players this week to do some memes that FLICKR did throughout the years. So the one that I have selected for you, you're going to see right now on screen. Remember when he won Worlds, he started piling up caps on top of his head. And that's what it was in the end. So we brought caps for you, and I would like you to try and do the same thing. I can hold the mic for you while you do it, and I'll just give you all the caps. Good luck doing that, because I don't think it's going to be that easy. So it's one in one way, one in the other. Okay. What an expert. Oh my God. I think it looks good like this. I think you can look at this camera. Thank you. Thank you, Berlin. Little thumbs up in the end.
Like this?
Right. You smashed it. Thank you so much, Isma. Thank you so much. You have the power of FLICKR now.
Okay.
Over to you guys at the desk for more on this day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Laure, and Isma for playing ball. That was adorable, and obviously he's pretty good at it. Also pretty good at League of Legends. Wow, SK just, I mean, going from strength to strength. And I think we really want to talk about the Baron they got, and I think also mostly how BDS dropped the ball, yes, no?
Absolutely, because I think we're sitting in a position now, we're talking about how good SK is really becoming, but we cannot forget how the early game actually panned out and how it's so close to being BDS that was actually going to take it. And that's why I want to draw it into our telestrator that we have, because BDS is finding themselves in a Baron fight where they have just wiped members off from SK, they forced them back, they have to go into the TP. So as we roll out the clip here, you should be able to see that we're actually looking at a TP coming through from Niski at the same time, while on the other side, I'm not actually sure if it's coming up.
I don't know if we're
but
seeing
I
it yet.
guarantee you what's happening is that Niski's coming through with
Yeah.
a TP.
Oh,
That's definitely
Knocked
the
her.
minimap. Okay, so basically, there we have
an
it.
option in the game, yeah.
TP's come through from Niski on the minimap, and as you roll out the clip, you're gonna see that he's gonna come through from a different flank position where he's on the left and Luan's on the right. But if we stop it right now, I think it's very important to highlight Luan.
Well, the thing is here, BDS is playing the situation like it's a completely free Baron. Labrov is doing a decent job right now to zone the Alistar, but at some point, he's just gonna completely drop the ball and let the Alistar find a great position here. Because the thing is, I don't think BDS knows that Niski is over there, because maybe Labrov would have played it a little bit differently over here. But now after this, Alistar is just gonna find a perfect angle to just go in, and coupled with Niski, they're just gonna completely wipe this fight.
Yeah, and I think you roll out the clip now, you can also see the way the Baron Pit works here, right? There's no one here to actually start him. Adam finally steps up, but it's way too late. To be fair, Luan did have the ultimate, but even then, there's not enough blocking people from actually setting this one up. And even after, the fact that the Maokai is just allowed to walk in, find that Q smite to take over the Baron, and later the fight for the rest of SK, it's just SK capitalized on BDS, and BDS not really setting up the right steps for it.
Yeah, and this just shows how important chaos is in these fights, because SK just created so much chaos, you know, like all of a sudden Adam walks into that situation, he's like, okay, Baron is free, I just need to find Maokai, ult him. Well, the thing is now in this patch you can even see the Baron, even if you're in the Mordekaiser ult. But he has way too many responsibilities. Corki gets into that fight, he is sitting for free, and then there's just no one to stop him, and by the time Corki like eliminated everyone in the fight, Adam got there and it was way too late.
it was just an absolute misplay and fantastic creating of chaos by SK and keeping their record spotless. I see that we're about to get into draft for Fnatic versus Rogue as well. Guldborg, what does your gut tell you? Is Fnatic gonna keep up the win streak just like SK?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No contest.
No doubt in your mind. Let's head over to our casters for Fnatic versus Rogue.
Here we are, moments away from picks and bans, or replaying an earlier picks and bans as the players get an opportunity to talk. So, Corki immediately locked in. Lots of AD carry / AD bans in general. Remember that Ashe played twice last week by comp. Ashe Braum seemed to be their go-to bot lane duo. This week it would seem to be Senna Nautilus, as they're gonna insta-lock that one.
I mean, we've continued to see the Corki priority, which shouldn't really come as a surprise to anyone as a result of how teams in Europe have been prioritizing. Vi is something that is a bit mixed over in the LCK. They still prioritize it quite highly. I think here in Europe, it's kind of fallen to the wayside. Humanoid's LeBlanc. This man has different degrees of confidence, and I mean, he comes into every game assuming he's going to win, of course, but you can tell when he's feeling it based on certain champions that he picks. And today he said, no, you just blind pick me LeBlanc. I'm good.
And look, what I'll say is that Humanoid had an excellent week one. Both away games look good, but I also like that he busted out the Galio. You know, this is a guy who has often been the center of attention for the team, and when he wasn't playing that carry pick, the team often wasn't, you know, able to follow up. The fact that he's able to pick utility in some of these games shows, I think, that this Fnatic squad is developing. This time, however, he's not playing utility. He's playing damage. He's playing for himself. He's got the backup from Razork and potentially from Noah on this Corki as well. On the opposite side for Rogue, well, this feels like a very Rogue draft. You've got scaling tools, you've got range, and you've got the Emperor himself on Azir.
I mean, in their defense, like, I think that it's still like very stable. The only champion I think Europe seems to still be attached to is Azir, which I feel like the rest of the world has just kind of moved on from. I think he's still a fine champion. Obviously, his scaling is still very relevant. But after the nerfs to Azir, it definitely hit many teams' perspective on how strong he actually is. But this is Larssen that we're talking about. When you associate him with certain champions, like Azir is one of them, if not the one. So in this matchup, he knows the matchup very well. He feels very comfortable. So it's no real surprise that Rogue is heading in that direction. It depends on what they do with their top side, who I think has had a very solid start to the split overall. I think Finn continues to find plays and be creative with what he can bring to the team. We'll see how they round things out, whether or not he's looking for another tank. With this Cassante taken away, Uda is always a possibility, but I imagine they're going to save that for last pick.
Interesting
Something
to
like
see.
a Viego, maybe. Markoon has played 2 games of Rek'Sai as a possibility. Depends how much more utility they want to bring in.
Yeah, I want to see if Rogue are going to go for more stability. Obviously, already pretty safe, stable composition. Or do they want to let Finn branch out a bit more with this potential red side counter pick. Can also give it over to Markoon if they want, but would expect a jungler to come through here. Save that last pick for Finn, allow him to flex those muscles a little bit. That said, Fnatic, of course, their top side, really scary in the previous week. Oscar especially just continuing to get better and better. Had 1 or 2 games at MSI where he really stood out, and that seems to continue to be the trend. But blind Renketon, given the counter angle for Markoon. Of course,
So
already knows
like
the vibe, but maybe he can set up something even stronger into the enemy composition.
I mean, why not? Ornn is fine. Like, it's a losing matchup, sure, early, but late game, great way to start fights. Especially, I think that it's good follow-up if the Vi is diving in. Ornn sets you up nicely either as the primary engage or the secondary. And okay, Fnatic's just they're like, more engage. We want things to go in with the Vi. Let's lock in things that go in with the Vi. And Jun, I mean, we said this about him last split, but I think it's worth reinforcing. When Jun has a playmaker, plays get made. Yeah, plays get made. You feel that impact. Safe. Like, Renata is probably his only exception, but the difference between him on range supports versus melee is like, it really is night and day. And that's not, I don't think he's bad at range supports by any means, but you can see that Fnatic, like, they just have the go button ready when he's on those initiators. So nice to see him on the Rell. Fnatic have great team fighting, great skirmishing, solid scaling on their side. How is Rogue gonna round this out?
Looks like early game might be the answer here. Wanting to just get some more explosiveness on the Rift. Bullabear has been changed a number of times since we last saw him be really popular. This would be a very big dip towards, and this is one of the most controversial picks in professional League of Legends right now. People cannot decide if this champ is actually good or if Canyon just needs to be stopped. Because he's the only one doing good. Everyone else, you know, got up and down games on the Nidalee, but his influence has now come to us here in the LEC. And Markoon, not a guy who has really been the center of attention on this Rogue lineup since he joined. Picking up the Nidalee, a very different story for him.
I mean, you know, we talked about it last game, but like Senna, Azir, Nidalee, a lot of range.
Yeah.
Right, you got some decent poke in that lineup. The front line is solid with the Nautilus plus the Renketon. Typically, Nidalee and Renketon is a combo that we've seen many times throughout Europe's history, because the idea is Renketon, he can easily stun you, the Nidalee can then easily land a spear, and then you kill someone. Great idea when playing towards the top side of the map. It can help you snowball that Renketon early. You can then use the pressure from Renketon to push into the enemy topside jungle, and it makes counter jungling as Nidalee that much easier. However, how many teams throughout history in Europe have been able to successfully leverage that is not many. But I will say again, we talked about how the top side has shown us some promising things this split. I think that this top jungle combo can give Rogue the ability to play through top side. So let's see if they can shut Oscar down and snowball through top.
And certainly gives us a clear point to focus on the map. Markoon, of course, first time this Nidalee has been picked up by him in the LEC. The Fnatic fans here out in force, looking to see that 4-0 come through. No doubt the Fnatic are the favorites in this matchup, but Rogue clearly have come prepared as this level 1.
And also, like, things I've been hearing about Fnatic, like, it seems that what they took away from MSI was profound, right? Like, it seems that, like, based on what we've been hearing in scrims, how this team has been playing on stage, like, they just seem like an evolved team more than what we've been seeing from them last split. And we wanted to see change from Fnatic because the potential has always been there with this roster. But it felt like that, especially at the first half of the year, their coordination was a huge problem. They took fights all the time that didn't make sense. Sometimes we saw individual errors, and we heard from interviews last week that they've really been trying to focus on their macro, being smarter about the game. So we'll see if they can continue that trend, look to tie SK at the top of the standings.
Well, when you talk about the interviews, but also the rumors and the discussions we've heard from teams around them, saying that they're the best team in scrims, probably the best performing team in the league right now. Lots of teams, 3 of them, in fact, had that 3-0 week. Fnatic, BDS, SK, but only one of them is getting so consistently praised by every single other team in the league.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the reason that I think while this week is a lot about proving that it's more than just this 1 week, you know, explosive start, Fnatic already start to feel like the real deal, but this is going to be a big test here as Markoon is going to do everything in his power to try to disrupt this early game.
Let's see what he can do. Stunning on Raptors, going to clear out his top side. Path towards bottom would be my expectation. If we look at early prio, something that's very important when it comes to junglers, that ideally want to try and counter jungle, get in your face, be obnoxious. And right now it's Fnatic that has the push in bot. Fnatic have the push in mid, whereas Finn has the push in top. But unfortunately, if Markoon does want to invade camps, he's not going to have any to invade. And I think Razork is smart with his pathing. Pathing away from the Ornn as well typically just makes a lot of sense. And he's going to be playing around his strong side of the map, which will be this Corki, this LeBlanc, as Humanoid already putting some solid pressure down onto Larssen.
We'll see what Markoon is able to do once he's able to reset, get some strong AP itemization under his belt. If he gets any kind of lead, we know Nidalee can take over. But for now, Fnatic, in the bot lane, at least in isolation, winning out pretty handedly. This is the power of the Corki. Almost no champions in the game can really walk up and trade with this champion early on. And definitely not a Senna Nautilus lane. Obviously offer a ton of utility, a ton of scaling as we get later into the game. This duo does so much, but win early trades against the Corki is not one of those things.
Markoon continuing to clear. Razork doing the same thing. Jun utilizing the pressure that they have in bot lane. Noah went for a cheeky base, TP'd back into lane.
This is the second time that Fnatic have spotted Markoon on this early path. There's no mystery about where this Nidalee is going. Walking off of vision, however, has snuck his way into mid lane. They will be able to see the attack speed steroid on Larssen if they look closely and know that Markoon was close, but not quite sure if they clicked on the portrait there. Markoon falling up on topside grab. Razork wants to go in here, but isn't super favored. I think was just trying to path away from the Nidalee, assuming that Markoon would be on the bottom side crab, so good look from Markoon, honestly.
I mean, also, I just think that, yeah, Markoon's pathing made sense. Like, he has push in top. The one lane that can assist him is the lane that he wants to be playing towards with the crab. I guess Razork wanted to try and fight him for it, knowing that he did have that mid push. But base going to come through now from Markoon. Stand corrected. He's going to go straight back to the respawn of his Raptors. I mean, this is the advantage of starting on your Raptors, right, is that they do respawn that much quicker. And also his Krugs are going to respawn quicker because he then went Raptors into Krugs. So Humanoid with another nice trade in mid. As Fnatic, no significant advantage, but in terms of the pressure that they have on the map, they're looking rather promising for now.
And ward over the wall means they spot Markoon and know that he has not recalled yet. Jun stepping up, Crashdown goes in, but hits the CC. Aftershock now fading away, taking a lot of damage in the extended trade, but Rogue don't want to overcommit here. Nice play by Rogue, honestly. Trade up, Jun taking a lot of damage, but now the flash is a recommittal. Noah now getting aggressive, Halo Blade to proc. So much damage going in for the Corki, but right now just one kill picked up by Comp. Well played by Rogue. Fnatic getting over eager in the bot lane 2v2.
Nice stuff from the Rogue bot lane. They're able to weather all that pressure that came in. I thought that once the double stun connected, Noah was going to clean up, but the W from Zoelys kicks in at just the right moment. But the root then lands. Noah doesn't want to commit the flash for the kill. And it means that first blood goes in favor of the Rogue bottom lane.
Razork now walking up. There's a trap in the brush. He will spot it out. Markoon knows Razork's in the area. Jun resets, goes into mid lane, ready to make a play elsewhere. But of course, the TP from Zoelys, he is the farming Nautilus, means he gets right back in the lane. Can look to regain control here. Noah hasn't really been able to buy outside of that first recall where he used his TP, picked up a Cole. So not too threatening in the 2v2, and it means that Comp and Zoelys can just stick around.
I mean, this is a great position for Rogue's bot lane to be in, right? Not only does Comp get the kill, which is great, because you have a gold lead over the enemy AD carry who has a 30 CS lead on you.
Yeah, again, yeah, you should not, this should not happen.
Yeah, but also you, now look, you go back to base. I thought he was actually going to look for a row mid, but I guess with the Azir, you're just accepting the fact that you're just playing safe for the early game. They're also going to grab themselves the grubs, knowing that they have the pressure on the top side thanks to Renketon. So all things looking positive here for Rogue, but Razork not going to allow a 13-minute first dragon of the game to happen. He's going to cross map and secure a Drake of his own.
And we'll see what the soul ends up being. An Infernal Drake, not a bad start, but obviously when you have Renketon, when you have a matchup so favored on the top side, getting the grubs, or at least denying the grubs from Fnatic, is always going to feel good. Comp's reset does take a bit of time, so Noah is able to grab, or just about, does not quite grab a play, but we'll be able to grab one here as they push in again. They know Markoon's on the top side as they see the notification. Rogue playing weak side means they're likely to concede at least one plate here, and we'll see if Razork wants to commit for some kind of dive. Nice hook onto Noah. Root there too. Good initial damage. Really dissuades any potential follow-up.
Yeah, great damage onto Noah. He's going to be forced to base. No threat of a dive here. Look at how healthy this Rogue bottom lane is. No TP available for Noah means that it's going to be a while for him to get back to base. The good news is this is a cannon wave, so it's not going to push as quickly. Markoon, though, hovering around mid, level 6.
Here. Ooh. Does not hit Humanoid. Markoon will jump in, though, and help clear the wave at the very least.
I'm not sure if I was keeping track of that properly. I was wondering if Markoon did actually steal away that blue. I think he did, because it looks like he just refreshed. So good awareness from him as well. This is the thing about Nidalee, right? She great mobility once she's in that tiger form. Cougar form, I should say. My apologies.
Not a tiger, just to be clear.
But the moment that you see where the enemy jungler is, you need to be moving into the enemy jungle just because your clear speed is so fast. And the fact that you have all this mobility with your W means that you can creatively steal camps.
Hook, Aftershock procs. No, trading back a little bit here. Not too much damage really going to stick onto Jun, however. This Humanoid just looks to cancel the base onto Larssen.
But I mean, so far, we haven't seen Fnatic take advantage of any of the strengths that they have in their composition. When you look at Vi, LeBlanc, this is supposed to be a mid-jungle duo that's very scary. A lot of lockdown, a lot of crowd control. We've seen how much pressure Humanoid has in mid, but he hasn't really left his lane for any opportunities on the sides either. So Rogue have kind of gotten the slower early game that they wanted. They've even been able to find a kill in the bot lane too. So I think Rogue is very happy with how this early game has been going so far. 3 grubs in their favor. Yeah, they've conceded a dragon, but if they can get the extra grubs as well, pretty good spot to be in.
And again, scaling not too bad as we see the all-in top side. Dominus already popped by Finn. Good damage coming in from Oscarnin. He just gets the solo kill. Comp, too damn late with the ultimate.
And just as we're saying the game is going well for Rogue, Oscar says, don't worry boys, I got this. And now look at Razork looking for a play of his own.
Follow up, Jun. Ulti gonna pull back Zoelys. They're just gonna shred through the Nautilus. Noah grabs the kill in bot lane and in top lane. Fnatic find advantage.
So it's Oscar that shouts the war cry, inspiring Fnatic to make this play happen in the bot side of the map. They now lead in terms of gold. And Fnatic, this is the sort of aggression we wanted to be seeing with this Vi. The potential plays that you have. Zoelys flash only just now coming up. The unfortunate timing there, or perhaps fortunate timing, I guess, depending on your perspective, means that Fnatic find themselves 2 kills. And now all that pressure that Finn had on the top side of the map, the matchup that he was winning, that's a Thornmail first buy for Oscar.
Yeah.
Going to be much harder now to win out on the top side of the map.
Yeah, and it won 2 items. Renketon obviously in isolation. Still gonna feel fine, right? But really unfortunate that he does go down there. Does grab a couple of plates, starts to balance things out as we see Ornn resetting, Oscar resetting towards the bottom side of the map. Looks like they want to leverage the power of their Corki more on the top side. Fnatic setting up to play for second grub spawn here. Yeah, don't want to give the buff away, but Humanoid already taken a decent chunk of damage. Oh, I forgot they added that. We can finally see Clone.
I was just about to say, is that the first time I've seen that?
Do you know how many times I've popped off in random regular season games for a LeBlanc kill that just turned out to be a clone? And then I had to sit there and just pretend like I knew all along it was a yoke. It was not a yoke, Betty.
I mean, the number of times I've been baited by Nico, like, oh, they're putting Vars mid? Like,
I don't know if it doesn't say that over Nico.
I know.
That's not the bad.
I'm kind of happy she's not meta anymore.
FLICKR fun fact.
Oh, FLICKR.
10-16, Febvin solo killed FLICKR in the Zed versus Azir matchup at MSI 2015. Well, this is Azir versus LeBlanc, but look, it's not a lot of reasons to remember Tallahassee, but that is one of them. Iconic EU solo kills.
Now, Rogue, they're going to be getting themselves 5 grubs. Can they make it 6? Here's Humanoids.
Decent damage on Humanoid. Finn in the midst of the entire team. Nice. Jun engaged, but there's no follow-up damage. Combo's already been cut down, but all of Rogue now retreating. They do not want to deal with Noah. Grub going to get picked up here. Rogue managed to grab 5, though. It's not a bad deal for them.
So that was a cool engage from Jun, and we saw some synchronized flashing from Rogue. Perhaps a new Olympic sport in the future.
Sorry, would you want to repeat for me what the Olympic sport is?
Yeah, synchronized flashing.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's when you all press either your D or F key.
I got it. Yes.
Together.
Good clarifying statement that we won't need to include in the Twitch clip. Thank you, Vedius.
Now, I mean, ultimately, Rogue, they don't lose any members. They do get the grubs, as you highlighted. So I'd still say that it's ultimately a win for Rogue. The problem is that if they want to contest this upcoming dragon in about 10 seconds time, which I don't think is worth it for them, they wouldn't have those summon spells available to them. So again, nice engage from Jun. Unfortunately, doesn't really pan out.
The good news is they'll all get them back at the same time, and they can't gank everybody.
True. That's very, very true. All right, so we look now, the Dragon, that becomes the next big point of contention. I turn my attention towards the minimap, and you'll notice that Comp actually immediately pathing towards the top side. Perhaps Rogue already accepting the fact that they don't want to try and fight this and are looking for a cross-map play. Nidalee making their way up towards the top side
to clear
as well.
the wave here, just to stop any potential follow-up action. Nidalee is on the way, but wave's already gone. Really hard to dive Oscar, and now Fnatic looking to make a dive play of their own. Zoelys, a little bit easier to dive there, trying to flash out to safety. Immediate Vault Breaker follow-up while they take their sweet time. Jund tanking the tower, but should be able to just walk that one out. Zoelys ticking, but he's still alive. Larssen now coming in. Razork knockback, Vault Breaker, immediate ult to try to follow up. Larssen gets the push back on Razork. Razork now taking the tower. Larssen now going back. It's a bit of a disaster, but they managed to kill him in the meantime. Larssen still up. 1 for 1.
But for how much longer?
One more rocket.
Here comes
One
Jund.
bit more of damage. Follow-up Q, shattering strike. Jund the dash out, crash down for the shield. Fnatic getting 2 in the bottom lane.
Now we turn our attention to top. 3v2.
Humanoid double dash in, looking for the chain onto Markoon. Big damage on Nidalee. The root is there. Oscar doesn't quite want to follow, but again, Fnatic just winning out on these exchanges.
Well, so the good news for Rogue is that they get a top tower. The bad news is that they lose 2 kills on the bot side of the map. Fnatic, I mean, it ends up being a 2-for-1 overall as Razork loses his life, but no Dragon goes down, no plate secured in bot lane either for Fnatic. We look back at this, solid flash, but it doesn't really achieve a huge amount in terms of the shielding coming through from the Senna. Buys so much time for Zoelys to allow for the TP to come through. The ultimate wasn't committed earlier though from Razork. He uses that chain CC to lock down Larssen. He gets scooped underneath the tower. But you also then put it in range of the Nautilus to allow for Vi to get that initial kill.
Yeah, he just pushed E.
And
It's always
Zoelys,
just a
no
single
flash.
step back. Hook into the wall, gets
Oh,
interrupted. Jund, nice angle again on the crash down. Another kill onto this Nautilus bottom lane. Noah, the one who's getting paid. 2K gold lead for him. Over comp on the opposite side.
Zoelys not respecting the weak side of the map, not anticipating Jund to be hovering around and looking for that play. Now 1.5k gold lead being built for Fnatic. The plates are about to fall off. You can see relatively even across the board. No tower dropped yet, but Fnatic looking to change that. And look at the minimap right now. You'll notice Rogue continuing to invest on the top side. They want to secure the Herald. They're happy to exchange it for this bot tower. I'd like to see Fnatic also convert this into a Dragon. But they're prioritizing stealing away these camps, taking as much gold away, because you also got to recognize that those top camps for Razork also being denied.
I think the struggle now, though, if you're on the side of Rogue, is you just got to survive for the next few minutes, right? You have that scaling angle, most certainly, but Markoon on the Nidalee wasn't really able to dominate early on, has just now picked up the Lich Bane. While there will be angles to find these isolated kills on the side lane, the opportunities are going to get fewer. Side of Fnatic, of course, breaking open mid lane tower, grabbing the Drake, as you mentioned earlier, will be easy for them. See what else they can grab, and ultimately see what Rogue can do with this Herald. And that'll be an avenue of attack for them to shut down Fnatic in this mid game.
Fnatic's mid game is scary.
Yeah. Is it because they have a point-and-click buy and a LeBlanc?
Actually, more so the Corki.
You mean this one down here with the 301 and almost
that's
2
the
items?
One. Yep, that's the Badger.
The full damage Corki, who
yep.
almost has Lord Dominic's?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's the thing that I'm still getting used to, right? That Corki is now like just a very powerful
Rocket doesn't do a lot of
mid-game.
damage, but he W's in and then 2-shots someone.
Yeah,
You're like,
he just does a lot of damage now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Fnatic's comp is like very driven in the mid game.
Noah? Walking
And they have
past,
so much
Finn
setup.
isolated off to
This
the
is
side.
the setup.
Finn is gonna ult, that's the dominance, but they're taking their sweet time here. No way for him to get out of this
Are you
one.
having
Rogue.
fun moving, Finn? Do you enjoy playing the game? Because Fnatic don't want to let you.
Root, CC coming in, double knock up. Jund gonna get rooted as well, but Rogue again, they're just not gonna follow up. It's a 4v4, but they don't want to start it.
I don't think Humanoid even used the 2 chains, but it was what? Chain into knock-up, into stun, into knock-up, into knock-up. Like it's...
Look, in Arena, they literally make you immune to CC if you get hit by that much. This is not Arena. You just have to suffer. Some normal summoners rift is for suffering.
Treads, okay? Like, it's, yeah, I mean, that's the advantage of Fnatic comp. Like, single target ability to find picks, their skirmishing power is very scary. And this is what Fnatic need to be doing, attacking the side lanes. And speaking of attacking side lanes, let's see if they can kill this behemoth in the top
Oscar
lane.
has already used the Searing Charge, so will now flash.
Oh,
Spear
no.
doesn't hit. TP on the way. Unstoppable. Calls the horn. Rogue! I don't think this is the fight you were looking over. Knock up on a comp is good. Nothing else is going to get hit. Rogue, do they want to
Look
start
at
here?
mid.
They use the TP. Corki can just push mid.
I think Noah did commit his TP as well, but I think he committed into the mid lane as Oscar loses his flash, is able to disengage, but it's ultimately a fair trade of flashes. I would say the downside is both Humanoid and Noah use their TPs, but you still got Oscar's, so his ability to go and catch waves inside is still going to be there. If they unlock this mid tower, though, a huge win. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a huge win for Fnatic ultimately.
Yeah, because generally when you're playing against the LeBlanc, the last thing you want to do is give her more control over the map, over those brushes. For now, vision control, okay from the side of Rogue. They need to be careful because Fnatic have set so many wards down in their jungle. They need to clear those out, and they'll do so now.
Here's what I will say. Humanoid, like, we haven't talked about him much this game. 181 CS, 17 minutes. Like, he's just been quietly farming an absolute storm.
And you can see Noah's rich from kills and CS.
Yeah.
Humanoid, much less rich, but still second richest in the game from just CS and
It might seem like a silly thing, you know, when you talk about CS and like good CSMers, they're pros. Oh, Larssen.
Lock up on the Larssen is good. Follow up chain, push back, flash, dash out to safety. So good escape by Larssen, but ultimately has to burn everything.
That's going to be a tower now. Jud really making sure that he takes the long way home. And also catching the wave, delaying it, allows the wave to get underneath the tower too. Means that Fnatic should be able to unlock another tower. Oscar now finds himself
really committed to trying to dive this
again.
Ornn.
No, does he have ult? I don't think he does.
Ulti's still on cooldown. Just a few more seconds, however. He's going to do what he can to clear the wave. The damage now finally coming in. Markoon doing a little bit. Knock up there, tanking good. Distribution of aggro, good. Shutdown not coming through from Larssen. Will just be the tower trade, but now Zoelys needs to get out of mid. Follow up, Vault Breaker there. Q forward, ulti comes in for the Nautilus. Zoelys already dead. Such a rough game for him, but Rogue will at least get the kill on the bottom side, have the Herald set up to try to take 2.
Rogue doing the correct thing in terms of split pushing, or sorry, cross mapping in exchange for the top tower, but Fnatic one-upping them and just running it down mid as well. They have points of pressure across the map, keeping control over the mid wave thanks to Noah's pressure, and they secure themselves another tier 2 as well. So the trade ends up being more favorable for, I guess you say it's more even, because it's still ultimately a 1-for-1, right? Oscar loses his life and gives over the shutdown, but in exchange they get that kill on the Zoelys. I mean, this is what we were talking about in terms of Fnatic. I do think their macro really has improved. I think they've got a great awareness of what they need to be doing with their comp, and they're leveraging their mid game very effectively. Dragon now spawning in 35 seconds. This is where they need to gain control over the bot side of the map, start putting pressure towards Rogue's blue side of the jungle, and then you start denying Rogue access, and you start zoning away and forcing them to come and face check.
And of course, anytime an Azir picks up a Nashor's early, you also have to respect the potential for Rogue to just start this Baron themselves. Yes, we're still 20 seconds away. Yes, it's very early. But Azir, especially on 2 items, is strong, and Fnatic, the root can expire just in time. Comp's still gonna get knocked up, but Fnatic don't want to overcommit.
I mean, they got what they wanted, right? Another flash gone. They'll be happy with that trade. Also, they have removed some of the vision around that top side of the map. They get control over mid, they immediately move into the bot side, the Dragon is up. I mean, well played from Fnatic. They don't have to concede all pressure on the map. They can contest some of that control on the top side, clear out some of that vision, move back into mid, and they're the ones with the advantage that now Rogue can't contest. They put themselves at soul point, and now Rogue must start to feel the pressure. 67 souls for comp, 20 minutes in. Definitely on the lower end, I would say.
Not the worst, but certainly, given the amount of time he spent out of lane roaming with the team, less than you would like to have. And also, again, 401 Corki. Looks like Immortal Shield Bow likely to come in next for Noah, just to make sure that he can't get bursted out in one of these fights, which means he can be that much more aggressive, that much more up in your face. Zeke's Convergence picked up by both Razork and Oscar, of course, just generally a pretty cost-efficient item, even if, as a character like Ornn, you're not always going to be in melee range when you do cast your ultimate.
So now the pressure continues to mount. Fnatic after securing that Dragon, and no outer towers left to secure. This is where things like the Baron become a possibility. I think Fnatic's Baron taking is solid. One of the advantages you have is LeBlanc and Fog of War.
Yep.
No one wants to face check a LeBlanc in Fog of War.
I mean, it's like Zoe then LeBlanc, the worst champions to lose your mid tier 1. And in this case, also tier 2 too.
So you'll see Fnatic right now, look, they push in top, they push in mid. Admittedly, they've sent the LeBlanc bot, but the idea is that you deny vision in the enemy jungle. You steal away more camps, you suffocate the enemy, and that's Rogue now has to fight with numbers. So Jun alone trying to clear out vision, what do? They bring 3. And they say, Jun, you're not allowed here, we have more people, you have to disengage, and that's how they keep some of this control. But it becomes suffocating, it becomes very difficult. And meanwhile, while you're just fighting over this vision, trying to leverage more numbers, look at LeBlanc pushing in bot. Now Humanoid has been able to push in the wave, he can reset, maybe even TP towards the Baron, or he can just roam over, they can create a play. Or he can just stay, and he can be annoying. Like, Fnatic just kind of have a lot of options available to them. And now that they've invested all that vision, Rogue has to invest their time to clear out the vision. Meanwhile, Fnatic resets, you look at their inventories, control wards being restocked, vision being replenished, and what do they see in the river? Observers, if you could show us what they actually see in the river right now. It's not a lot. And this
the
is
good
how
news is
the
they
vision
see
game works.
LeBlanc, right? And that's at least the scariest thing that can come out of a brush accounted for. The downside, they now also see Jun and Razork running their way down to bottom lane, and Finn is going to have to be very careful about stepping up to the wave here.
But this is what it feels like to be suffocated out of vision, right? And I would argue that in solo queue, one of the things that people fall prey to is that when you do get good leads and you like take these out of towers, you don't know what to do. Like, what do you do next? Because it becomes really hard to siege onto these tier 2s. You can just keep running a face into the wall, I guess, but it becomes very dangerous. But this is what you should be doing, right? Suffocating out that vision, denying as much jungle experience as possible, slowly bleeding them out in terms of farm, and then basically, because you deny them so much information, they're either forced to face check you, or you lose a Baron. So.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Noah's 3.5 items now, so whatever their Baron take might have been at earlier stages of the game, they can really start to shred through that objective. But they've also got the luxury of just waiting. Like, they can stall for 2 minutes, set their vision up around the bottom side of the map, and then go for Soul Point instead, force Rogue with really much worse engage tools to walk into them. Rogue, if you got to fight into Rogue, Rogue's comp looks pretty good. You got a Senna, you got the Azir, it seems solid, but you know, if you're engaging into Fnatic, it does not look good.
But also, like, I like this, the Fnatic are kind of showing us the options that you have with compositions as well, because LeBlanc, no one can really 1v1 her, so they also send Razork down there every now and then to help him, right? And now he can't hold the wave, so they can chip away at that bot tier 1. The question now becomes, like, is Fnatic spreading themselves too thin? As long as Finn is staying there on the bot side of the map.
Hook to start, Razork locked up, but the spear doesn't hit! Crucially, a judge says, now it's time to go, baby! No unstoppable! That's the Corki damage coming through. Double ice storms on Razork and Oscar as Humanoid goes to the wall, wants to one-shot the jungler. Markoon's got to run, and ding ding, baby, it's time for Baron!
I mean, Fnatic just playing that patiently, calmly. I was concerned that maybe they were overstaying around the red buff, that Rogue could have actually found a pick there, but the pick doesn't come to fruition. The spear doesn't connect, the follow-up isn't there, and Fnatic turn it on its head. They find an engage of their own. 24.5 minutes in, they get themselves the Baron, a 7k gold lead. Fnatic have played an incredible mid-game.
The discipline from Fnatic is crucial here, because even when Razork gets caught, they recognize the resources have been committed, and it's their time to go.
I mean, look at this. So the hook comes through, the spear doesn't connect. They don't really commit to the fight, but Zoelys is in at this point. He's not getting out. And so you have to question whether that commitment made sense from Rogue. The TP comes through from Humanoid. He now guarantees them a numbers advantage. And Fnatic secure a Baron.
And before, the chokeout was already oppressive. The vision control was already oppressive. It's only going to get worse for the side of Rogue here as Fnatic look to further extend this gold lead and look to grab themselves Soul 25 minutes into the game. And Rogue, we saw against Vitality, if you give them an angle to punish, they will punish. They will find a way back to the game. But now we're in a situation where they've got the grub buff. They're going to push and grab at least one tower, one objective bounty. But is it enough to stop the onslaught from the side of Fnatic?
I mean, honestly, this is one of the cleanest games from Fnatic I think I've seen this year. Yeah. Like, I'm genuinely really impressed with how they've been playing this mid-game, their approach. They seem so much calm and calculated. They're going to lose a tower, not the end of the world. Kind of makes sense, you know, you're resetting on that map. Nice angle found from Rogue. They're able to get a bit of gold back. But genuinely impressive. Let's see if they can close out cleanly now. As Humanoid just keeping the pressure, as you rightly said. The cost of committing to that tier 2 means that Humanoid was left alone in the bot lane to secure that objective.
Also, if you thought it was miserable to side lane against LeBlanc, who is ahead of you, have you tried doing it when she has a Cloud Soul and has, you know, whenever she ults just, you know, casual 60, you know, just a million movement speed, essentially, to chase you down. Larssen used to be able to dash away from the chains. I don't know if that will be the case anymore. Even now, though, they've already got what they wanted in the bottom lane, taking down the tower, setting up topside now on the tier 2 Rogue. Again, if they want to fight, it's really got to be soon. Obviously, if you lose a fight into a Baron empowered team, you probably just lose the game, but
That's a level 11 Senna against a level 17 Humanoid, and his Q'd as a third of his health.
just the Q.
Just
one
the Q.
auto, demolish proc, Razork threatening by just charging
But
the
have you
ball
noticed
breaker.
that Fnatic have not really given them a single 5v5 once
Have you
this whole
noticed
game?
that they just haven't randomly pushed their ultimates and said, it's time to go? Who are you? What did you do with Fnatic?
Well, here goes.
Oh, here we go. Engage. Spear doesn't hit, though. Ulti goes in on a Humanoid, but it's really not going to do much of anything. Rogue are just very slowly losing. The tower's
Slowly?
gone. There's nothing for them to fight
This is
over.
fast, man. 27 minutes in. Fnatic looking to end the game.
They're waiting for some kind of perfect opportunity, but it's just not going to present itself. Fnatic are too disciplined. Razork going to kick things off, though. Immediately just pops Larssen. There goes the late game. There goes the scaling. They can't even kill John. Double, triple for Noah. The ulti from Senna does not do enough. Excuse me, Comp's ulti doing nothing. Fnatic just executing Rogue. Just one shot. Whew, one kill. Corki going to grab the Quadra in the end. Ace for Fnatic, win for Fnatic, undefeated 4-0 versus 4-0. Fnatic and SK will face off to see who can be 5-0 in the LEC.
I don't know what happened to Fnatic, but MSI has clearly done them a lot of favors.
Ultra Instinct Razork. We didn't know. All it took was the hair dye, and they've been unleashed.
All I'm going to say is, okay, right? G2 lost to NRG, went on to 3-0 top esports. These guys lost to Team Lake. Losing to NA does something to Europeans. I don't know what it is.
Fires us up. That much is true. Player of the game, vote now at LEC on X. Humanoid, Noah, or Jun. No wrong choices here. Clean, nigh immaculate game from the side of Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you can find small things to criticize, but overall, really impressive. We'll see if Fnatic can maintain that form, but impressive stuff. We're going to now take a break, ready for our third game of the day. Don't go anywhere.
Done.
There we go.
Break?
Break.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Red Bull gives you wings.